All right. Hello, hello. I see people are entering the call. So let's kick it off. Welcome to Swarm Community Call. For those of you who are tuning in on X, please know that this call is being broadcast from Swarm's Discord server, which means that if you would like to post a question or join the conversation later on, you'll need to switch to Discord as X is audio only for you. With that said, feel free to leave a comment as a reply and it will be reviewed after the call finishes. But for those of you joining on Discord, there's an in-call chat window in the top right corner, as well as the stage chat, where you can post questions at any time and they will be brought on stage live as we go. In today's, September's call, the agenda is as follows. First, as per usual, we'll start with core development updates with Nikki and Callum, and I'll have to search for them here in the audience. Next, we'll move to community talk section, where first Nidish will present the file manager, and then Joao will join us to make a brief introduction to MetaProvide and explain why we need IPSH, the InterPlanetary Swarm Hive. So let's kick things off by me first inviting Nikki to stage. Hello, Nikki.
Hello, hello. Can you hear me?
Oh yeah, I can hear you nice.
Nice, nice. So, hey Mina, hello everyone. Welcome to the September community call. Great to have you all here once again. This month we've got a lot of exciting progress to share, especially as we gear up for the upcoming 2.7 be release. So let's get into it. So we are now in the final stretch for preparing our next release, and the list seems to be the list of the items to be part of it is finalized. We have already made some of the important changes, and more are in the pipeline, each of them helping to make the faster, more robust, and easier to run. So here is a quick overview of what's already in and what's coming next. So what's already there? As erasure coding improvements are now included, which strengthen the way Swarm handles data redundancy and recovery. This makes the network more resilient and helps on data reassembling. We've also improved feeds by introducing better support for legacy payload formats, which helps with better compatibility with different feed payload formats, while making legacy resolution behavior more explicit than implicit. What's in progress? We are introducing support for multiple underlay addresses, which improves how nodes announce themselves to the network and to their peers and connect to the network. This is particularly important for nodes that may be reachable via different network interfaces, and it plays a critical role and supports the big WASM bounty that's worked on by Pavel. In the context of this, and alongside AutoTLS is being finalized, this feature will enable nodes, especially browser-based ones, to automatically establish secure encrypted connections. And it's a key step towards seamless, secure B nodes running directly in the browser. Also, a fix for a pin eviction bug is also in the works. This improves how B manages pinned content, ensuring that important data remains properly protected from garbage collection. We're actively, of course, working on improvements to pool syncing according to the pool sync sweep, a core part of how nodes keep data in sync. The next version introduces a refined approach currently under review that should improve consistency and performance. And finally, we're adding a new feature, the SOC replica, that enhances the way replicated chunks are handled in the network, helping ensure better reliability and data availability. So that's the part for the 2.7 release, which is a strong one, not just bug fixing and improving performance, but also laying the ground for exciting new capabilities, including being a browser. And while the B team is preparing for this, on the research side, there are also ongoing deep dives into how to handle multiple personas in Swarm, the identity management. These discussions are still evolving and quite preliminary, but we are already unlocking new ways of thinking about it and access in a fully decentralized environment. And also, last, we are also running tests to understand how checkbook funding impacts upload and download speeds. Early results are in, and now we are diving deeper into what means for performance optimization and potential future improvements. This was a long one, but that's it from my side and the engineering teams this month. Thank you as always for being part of this, whether you are testing our releases, running nodes, or just following the project. Your involvement, of course, help us move forward with confidence and clarity. Stay tuned, and on my side, see you next month with more updates. Back to you, Mina.
Thanks, Nikki. Please stick around for any potential questions that would emerge in stage chat or this in-call chat window. But I would like to ask Callum to come to stage to just provide a bit more clarification on a couple of things that you've mentioned. Not so much identity management, which is really exciting, but since it's in the early stages, let's focus on the other item that you've mentioned, which is helping you progress on the bandwidth incentives. Let's hear Callum's lovely voice describe what are we talking about when we're talking about that.
Well, sorry to let you down. I'm gonna have to speak now and ruin that, but hopefully you can hear me.
Yeah, we can.
Okay, well, yeah, as you said, the identity management and kind of a lot of the recent stuff. This is the new era of things, which Nikki's channeling at the minute. And for me, I spend most of my time dealing with the classics. So with that, that's the incentive systems, that's the bandwidth incentives as well. That's been here for quite a long time, and probably some of the oldest parts of the code base as it stands. And equally, over the last couple of weeks, and months, sorry, I've been mainly focused on performance of everything. And obviously that's coming usually from the research team and then spreading out with Nikki to the B team as well. And part of that is what's going on with the bandwidth incentives as well, which is why it's become a bit of a focus for us in the research team. So obviously if you're running a node, you can upload, download, request different files, and as per the network, it obviously forwards that message on to other nodes, and you basically get a time-based allowance for that. You get a free amount that you can basically request from other nodes for. Once that's done, you basically have a debt to repay to other nodes by providing the same service back. That's pretty much how the network exists as a whole. Obviously, we have the checkbook in the background of that as well, which you can, of course, basically pay your way. So after you've used your time-based settlement or your time-based allowance, and you basically still need to perform, you want to perform faster immediately, you can use the checkbook as well. Now, interestingly enough, that when it's turned on or off, seems to have implications to performance as well. So that's what gets my interest, where I want to basically focus on we can do in the research team to pinpoint those numbers, much like the benchmark tests for using different network scenarios, different levels of erasure codes, different file sizes, etc., etc. So this is more optimizations in the name of performance, and that's going back to first principles and looking at the incentive systems from the ground up. So we are
Did we lose Callum, or is it just me? Holy doly. It was getting really interesting. Wait. He's lost. Yes, he's lost.
oh,
Uh-huh.
sorry.
Oh, you're
Have
back. Callum, we
I
lost you at the most interesting part. Come, please do don't launch.
that would be that would be classic. Okay, well, I'll recap the last minute or so. So to sum up anyway, so I don't ramble, what we have is a large part of the incentive systems that needs to be investigated and looked at again. in my mind, all in the name of performance. We've done that with the erasure codes. We've done it with different file sizes with the benchmarking tests, and the B team have done a really good job, and the Infra team have done a really good job of showing us what that looks like. When it comes to the bandwidth incentives, this is an old part of the code base that when you have the checkbook either turned on or off to pay your way, basically for the resources of the network, that can impact speeds and performance. Most likely due to more steps required, more signatures required. Basically, there is a higher overhead to do that. So that could be part of the issue there. And we don't know anything definitive yet, so I don't have any interesting metrics to report as of yet that are definitive, that inspire us to have a roadmap for things to change. But we are investigating everything from the top down in the incentives, all in the name of performance. And we should have very soon some interesting metrics to describe and kind of put out here to the community as well, so that we can advise the most optimum way to use the network. And then in the short term, and then of course in the long term, make our incentive systems as robust and as performant as possible in a competitive landscape across all different protocols. Equally in the same vein, we're looking towards the staking protocol that we talked about just a couple of weeks ago as well, that we may try to look into changes there that have come from external contributors also. So it's nice that none of our incentive systems, while it's a core part of the network, everything is subject to change if it improves the performance, security, or reliability of the network. So that's everything that we're investigating for the bandwidth and some staking changes as well. If and when we have definitive tasks and outcomes that mean that we're going to change something, then the community will be the first to know. And equally, if you have any anecdotal evidence as well from using the network, we would please love to hear that and love your tests as well as ours inside the Discord. So doors always open to hear metrics and what your experience is like. And hopefully that answers your questions, and I'm here to add any details that you might need. Hopefully that was concise in my network as I kept up, Mina. Back to you.
Yeah, perfect. We perfectly audible now. Thanks. Yeah, so that's the same as I wanted to make sure you all hear. So if anybody would like to chat or like discuss these topics further, Discord is always here, and there is this research channel where you can pop in to follow up on what Callum has now been saying. But let's now move on to the community talk section, where I would first like to invite to stage Nidish. Can you please raise your hand so I get you on stage? And here is Nidish. He will present us something very exciting. It's a major UX improvement. So I assume people here are familiar with how you have to navigate hashes with handling files. Now that all is also, oh, sorry, now I'm losing connection or not. Oh, okay, now can you hear me? I hope you can hear me. So what I wanted to say that with File Manager, this is becoming more intuitive, basically as using any operating system's file explorer. You drag, you drop, you search, you view. But let's allow Nidish to walk us through. Nidish?
Yes, hello everyone, and thank you, Meena. So I'll just quickly share my screen. Let me know once you can see it. I think it's up.
Yes, it's up.
So thank you. Thank you for that quick introduction, Meena, and thank you everyone for joining in today. And before we dive into the new stuff, let's take a quick moment to look at how things work right now for file uploads. So we have the rough way of add file, then we add an
Hold on, just a
existing
minute,
or
just a second. I don't think that we can still see your screen shared. Can you, because it was there, but now it disappeared, or at least for me.
just let me reshare.
And this is something that we would want to see. I can tell you that I already. Oh yeah, that's great.
Is it
It's back.
visible now?
Yeah.
Yep. I hope it's still on. Is
Mm-hmm.
it? Yes. Okay. Awesome. Sorry about that, guys. So, like I was just saying, before we, take a look at the new file manager, we'll take a moment to, see how things are right now when we want to upload a file. So, we have the old way of, adding a file. adding your existing or old postage stamp or buying a new one and uploading it to your node. But let's fast forward to today, which brings us to the file manager. So think of this as your regular OS file explorer, but on Swarm. So you have the same comfort that you always had, but it's decentralized. So this is the first screen you see. It's as simple as setting up a new admin account on your OS, but on Swarm. So just select the lifetime and the security level, which is, how many copies you want across the network from off to paranoid. And this is technically a postage stamp. So this gets applied, under the hood. This is responsible for making your life much easier in managing the file so that you don't have to shuffle your file hashes ever again. So when we hit purchase, we get the admin stamp. It doesn't store the files directly, but it's sort of your identity. It manages all your file information and permissions. So now let's create some drives where we can actually store the files, right? So just like your old C and D drives, I'll make a drive for work. So, with a capacity and desired lifetime and then the security level. And then similarly, I can, create a space for personal stuff with, a similar setup with an initial capacity, uh, lifetime, and the security level. So security level just means, the number of copies. And now let's maybe throw in some files. So no more, selecting on a picker or attaching stamps. You can if you want, but it's as simple as dragging files from, your desktop folders. And I have this funny cat image here that will upload to the drive. And it's tagged with progress bars, and each file lands with its timestamp and expiry tagged to the drive that we created. So we can upload one or multiple files. Let me just pick the remaining and drag them to. And while that happens, I'll also add in some files to the other work drive, and I'll upload some of the videos that we have here. And that's it. I mean, it's that simple. And we can also check the right click on a file item, so we can see a few options, which is basically we can open it. Let's quickly take a look. We can download it locally, and obviously go through the process. We can also rename it directly on Swarm, so not so funny cat now that we've looked at a couple of times. And we can also track the version history of all the changes that we've made. So the renames and even a version control, but we'll just circle back to that in a moment. And we also have delete. Of course, once you upload to Swarm Network, you cannot delete a file. But if you just want it to disappear from your view, we can do that in three ways: the trash, the forget, or destroying the entire drive. So basically, trashing works like a delete action where you still have it in your bin or your trash, but it's not in your drive view anymore. Forget is like deleting the file permanently, but again, it's just that it disappears from your view. You cannot delete your file and it's still there. Or you can destroy the entire drive and take all the other files along with it. So let's not do that for now. We can also check the file versions, the number of versions we have, and other Swarm related metadata. And we also have a spotlight search, but you can type in any keyword like cat or pet and search across your drives or in the active or trash section that we just saw through the filters, and nothing slips through. So let's take a very quick example of how version control works. So we have this Hulk image in our personal drive. Let's quickly take a look, and let's rename it to say, strongest Avenger. And maybe a couple minutes later, we decide no. I mean, Thor is maybe the strongest Avenger. So we have this other image in our system that we can just quickly view and drag it again to the file manager to upload. And this time, the file manager will ask us if we want to upload it as a new file or
Pause again. Some
miss.
Discord action. Yeah, we lost the screen. Can you just, sorry, we lost it. I guess the
How
file was
long back?
so insulted that you, or the other guy, so insulted that you named Hulk the strongest Avenger that the whole screen disappeared. Can you just please rewind and go from
Yes,
Hulk's
yes, yes,
picture?
yes. Let me just rewind.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Hulk
Let,
got very angry. No, the other guy. I'm
let
not
me know
not
once you can
familiar
see
with the
the
Avengers.
screen again. If
Oh yeah,
are we able to see?
right here.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Awesome. Yeah. So just circling back to where we left off. So another image of Thor as the strongest Avenger, and let's just drag and drop it to the file manager. This time we can save it as a new, basically a fresh upload, or we can make it a new version of the old file itself. So if we go with that, this allows us to travel back to any version whenever we want, and even restore any of the earlier versions. So before that, let's take a quick look at our uploaded strongest Avenger image. So we can see that it's updated, and we can also restore it to the first version in like just two simple clicks, and that's it. So we can check the version history, and that's about a wrap of everything with the file manager. So in one quick run, I know we've covered a lot. We've onboarded, we've created an admin stamp, set up drives, uploaded files and managed them, deleted restore files, and even handled version conflicts. So it's intuitive. It feels like a regular file explorer, but every action is stamped and powered on Swamp. So with that, I will end the demo. And once again, thank you everyone. And I'll pass it back to Meena.
Thanks, Nidish. There are a couple of questions that pop out. First,
Yes.
okay, mine is, so when Swarm desktop integration? Hello, Nidish?
Hello. Yes.
Yeah. Do we hear you? Okay, so is the when is the integration to Swarm desktop happening? If you can give us like an approximate.
Right. So we are in the process of the final, reviews, and we should be able to see it in the coming week or so. And yeah, I mean, most of the thing is done, and we should have a ready piece to release soon.
Awesome. And then MCB is asking two things. First is, what does this security level do? And this has already been replied in the chat, but for those who are just listening, applying erasure encoding, right?
Yes. Yes. Exactly.
Okay. And the other question is about the new version of old file. Does it overwrite the old chunks in the network?
No, so we upload a very fresh file that is, at a, incremented feed index. So it doesn't do anything to the old file or the old file references or anything. It's still there. So that's how we can still retrieve it or restore it and download it. But yeah, in essence, we are still creating a new file, a new reference.
So feeds are not involved, because this is what a question from Henry. If the version control working under the hood is involving the feeds, or I guess that would be a no.
No, so for the version control, we do use the feeds. That's
Uh-huh.
how we maintain. Yeah, for each file, there is a different topic that's created, and each have their own feeds, and that's how we maintain the version.
Thanks, Nidish, for clearing this for us. If any other questions appear, I will make sure that they get answered. Oh, let's clear this one. Can drive creation and file uploads be incorporated in an app?
Sorry, can you please repeat that?
So Alan is asking if drive creation and file uploads can be incorporated in an app.
So when we say an app, it does it mean a separate app apart from the, the
Yeah,
B
that's
dashboard
what
that?
I'm asking
Yeah.
myself. But Alan, please. Oh, yeah, that's what it means. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So, I mean, we have all the building blocks for it. I mean, we have the file manager library that abstracts all these methods so that it can be implemented in any other app. But B dashboard is where we can see it working right now. So, yeah, I mean, it can technically be used in any other app too.
Fantastic. All right, so stick with us, Nidish, or just check please the in call chat for any further questions. But now I would like to invite to stage Joao. Please raise your hand. Oh, you have done so. And why are you not on stage? Invite. Poof. Okay. Welcome.
Okay.
Yeah,
Is this
I hear
working?
you. Oh yeah, it's
Oh,
working.
perfect. Thank you, Mina, and thank you all, and thank you, Nidish. Actually, your file manager is very similar, a lot of concepts to the things that we are developing on MetaProvide with Avid. But actually, we did not develop anything related with the file management. We did use Nextcloud to do that UI UX part. So actually, what I'm going to talk a bit about today is what is ABIT, what were the problems that we are facing right now, and why this idea of IPSH appeared, and why it is useful for us and also for the community. But starting I'm Joao Raposo from MetaProvide. I'm the product lead, and our first product around Swarm is ABIT. And our idea is to bring the decentralization benefits to people that don't know anything about Web3. They don't know how to talk, nothing about wallets, nothing. What they can do with ABIT is subscribe a service and then connect it to Nextcloud and use it like a normal file manager without touching anything related with Web3. So the plan here today is to talk about a bit what was our strategy initially and why we need IPSH right now. So our idea initial was to target the Nextcloud market. This was the market that we were trying to target, and working around education, pharmaceuticals, and organizations with critical data privacy and autonomy concerns. So all of this that I'm going to share around the first slides, this is what actually Swarm is about, and that's why under the hood, ABIT is Swarm, and is the technology that we choose. Uh, so education, we people are concerned about maintaining the information about the lectures, everything about that content, and they don't want breaches, of course. Pharma about sensitive data, and privacy critical organization institution. This is around institutions that are very compliance driven, or they are prioritizing protection from government data access. So this is the market that we try to target. What are the problems that we are solving? The same around Swarm. We just add the layer about being easy to anyone that is not literate on Web3. But the idea is to avoid single point of failure, to avoid attacks like the Equifax or Sony breaches, to maintain data sovereignty, so no one can use our data, access it, mine it, or freeze your account, avoid catastrophic data loss. We see that Swarm can be a very good solution to the disaster recovery plannings, because uh, we talk about having the data centers in 2 or 3 geo locations, but Swarm can do more than that, so that is a good solution, and also solve problems around political data control. So what we try to achieve is true data sovereignty. The benefits is enhanced security, fast chunks encrypted, distributed around Swarm network, resilience and integrity, and this is the layer that we add Web3 without any complexity. How ABIT works is like I explained before. Right now, it's just working with this Nextcloud plugin. We are considering to expand, but right now, to use IBIT, we need Nextcloud to use the interface. I can, if is interesting for the community, I can do a quick demo on how it works. But we create it's very similar to the previous presentation. We create a folder, we everything that we put on the folder goes to Swarm, and then we can get the hashes and do normal file operations around it. We do use pinning to avoid bandwidth costs and also to be more efficient in terms of speed. So this is very, there are advantages from centralized services, all about data sovereignty. Over decentralized services like IPFS or storage, we abstract the technical complexity about the usage and about self-hosted Nextcloud. Of course, we have this next layer of security and redundancy and everything that Swarm offers. So, what was our plan? Our plan was to convert part of the Nextcloud websites and secure some high-value customers, have a subscription model, and establishes as ourselves as a Web3 guide to the Web2 people. And a bit more further, we wanted to go get more B2C customers and a bit of B2B, and be like the Trojan horse of traditional industries. Like we were putting our product, they will start using it. They don't even notice that I was using Web3. They're just using the benefits, but the rest is very similar to normal Web2. This was the initial plan. What we did until today is we created a app.ab.com that is actually a paywall system where anyone can just grab a subscription, and then they have the license key that can use on Nextcloud, and after that they can just download the files. Of course, we have the Nextcloud Swarm integration, and this is the plugin that we call IBIT plugin. And this is what they needed to IBIT to work. They installed the plugin and they put the license and start working. And we also develop a WordPress plugin to anyone that has a WordPress website and an Nextcloud also. They can just have an automated backup of the website to an IBIT folder on Nextcloud. So we do decentralize the WordPress backup, and this runs on a schedule. So any WordPress website that has the plugin, and of course having the Nextcloud also, we can do the backup decentralization. So this is a bit about how it looks. The paywall system is like this. We can just subscribe what we want with the level of different redundancy, that is the different things that we offer. The Nextcloud Swarm integration is like this is normal Nextcloud, but when we put our plugin there, the files are decentralized on Swarm. We did add a bit of extra feature. We were thinking about how to do the delete, because we don't have the delete, the same problem that was mentioned on the previous talk. We did choose the archive feature because we talked about forget or something, but we have an archive feature since the files never disappear. And we have the IBIT centralized backup, and what happens is that on a schedule, like you are seeing on the screen, the old website, we do a zip of the website and or from the database SQL, and we send it to a folder that is on a Nextcloud that is connected to Swarm. So the backup is decentralized and with extra security. But yeah, we did all of this, but we do have one problem. We still have this problem, is that we don't have user adoption. We are doing the marketing, we are doing a lot of different kind of motions, but we don't have enough users to sustain our product. So the first thing we did was remove the credit card. It was mandatory to try the free trial, so we remove it, and we already see some changes on the the application. At least we have more movement there. And we think about expanding the market, or maybe increasing the plugin exposure, or maybe explore some new use cases. So in terms of expanding the market, there is a lot of options, of course, but the two ones that we think that make more sense is to tap into the IPFS market. And why do we think this is a good idea? First, because the IPFS market has large amount of data and there's large amount of usage. The other thing is that actually, if we connect IPFS with Swarm, we can have the best of the both worlds. So we have the market and we have the data there on IPFS, but there are some problems that IPFS has, like things about speed, redundancy, availability of the file, that what normally the people does is to have a centralized service like Pinata to solve this kind of problems. With our solution, we could avoid this thing. When I say our solution is actually with IPFS, IPSH solution, we don't have this kind of problem. And another thing that we think is that we can, right now we have a free trial, but we don't have a free tier. Why? Because to have the free tier, if we just use Swarm, that would mean some cost for us in terms of maintaining the stamps and also maintaining the data there and the bandwidth. But mainly we are talking about stamps and bandwidth. That's the cost around it. But if we direct these kind of files that are on the free tier to IPFS, that we could offer a free tier that doesn't cost us any money, and maybe that can also people, if they test more about the product, they probably can. This could be an idea to get more users. Of course, there's other ideas that we have, like developing a REST API to have S3 support, to have a bigger market, or even create another solution. But I will quickly pass through these ones because then it's not the main topic of this call. But we think about increasing exposure of the plugin on some new use cases that I'm not going to talk about it. There's someone that this is probably thinking more on long term. And why IPSH is so good connecting to the, why this is so good for us connecting with the IPFS market. We are talking about picturing grabbing the market that is there, but having more security, a very more faster retrieval of the files, because we can add some Swarm performance in some of the tiers, and yeah, we can touch the data that is already on IPFS, and very easy to migrate with IPSH. And the idea is to if anyone is using a Pinata service or any kind of service, the IPSH would have the same endpoints, so they would respond to the same endpoint. So if we needed to change quickly from IPFS to IPSH, it would be very easy, just changing the URL, everything would work. But yeah, here is about a bit more about the advantages of integrating IPFS on our AVID solution, but actually this is what I already talk about, the drop-in replacement of Pinata, and get access to the services. The innate performance around speed, redundancy, availability, and also because of the economic incentives that make the nodes online and also the data online. And with this, we do also have some advantages around the tapping the IPFS market. And our idea is to have these 3 tiers. The first tier would be mainly IPFS. It would be the cheap tier, maybe the free tier, and the last tier would be just Swarm with some connections with the IPFS to migrate files easily. And in the middle, we can choose about if we want to touch more about to improve the speed or maybe just improve the redundancy. This is still on work. We are thinking about what's the best solution for us and also for the community. And the idea that we have to develop IPSH is to build open source. So we don't control anything. The idea is to, if anyone else wants to run an IPSH node, they can do it because they can just run their own node. And if they want to put it on their own services, no problem. If they want to develop something on top of it also, so the community continues to have full control over their infrastructure. With having this IPSH on working, it will be easy to just migrate apps that are working on IPFS to IPSH and adding this part of the features because we maintain the URLs, the endpoints. And of course, again, we do offer we and IPSH offers the advantages of Swarm to IPFS community. Right now, to have an idea on how it's work, we have Ramesh here that can talk a bit about more technical details. But the idea of the node right now would be the architecture right now that we are thinking is a Kubo client to connect to IPFS and as a B-like node on top have an orchestrator to communicate with both of the nodes. Ramesh, do you want to add something things?
Yeah, no, I was just wondering. I think we probably missed the slide somewhere. Like what IPSH actually stands for, and like sort of. And I think there are also some questions about why mixed protocols here.
Yeah, without the questions. But just before I do that, just to sum up, so basically this InterPlanetary Swarm Hive, that's what IPSH stands for, is, if I got that correctly, like an IPFS compatible protocol that enables seamless migration, right, from IPFS to Swarm by exposing familiar IPFS and IPNS endpoints while persisting data on the Swarm network. Would that be correct, right? Just to have like a sum up of what we heard here. But now we can go to the questions. So one is from Peter: do you see the possibility of cooperating with Swarm desktop developers? As you mentioned, some features are duplicated and they also have IPFS to Swarm migration tools. So do you see the possibility of cooperation?
Of course, yes, we do like to work closely with the community and also with the Swarm team. So we are always available. MetaProvide team, we are very open to collaborations and talk about developments and roadmap, and of course, don't do duplicated features or something like this.
So, and now from MFW, that's probably more for Ramesh. You can probably see it, Ramesh, right? So why mix protocols here? IPFS really sucks for discoverability, time till the IPFS hash is accessible, until ultimately given that IPFS seems more like a CDN, where the CDN is really only holding on what's paying for bandwidth, and it doesn't ensure availability on all nodes. Some level of redundancy. Why not just adjust the Swarm protocols to include something like global pinning, whereby people could opt in to pin certain chunks or BZZ hashes and then have some method of discoverability so that they can exchange data, provide access via CD, and therefore it's incentivized via bandwidth incentives. Well, that's interesting, and we need to break this down. But Ramesh, can you pick this one up?
Yeah. So okay, there's a lot of questions there. So first, regarding why mix protocols, I think we're not mixing protocols. IPFS is more of a bridging of an easy way to bridge data from IPFS onto Swarm. Given that like now Swarm currently doesn't have a free tier protocol in itself, so I do agree that there might be benefits in having it directly on Swarm as well. But in this case, for MetaProvide's particular case, the IPFS-based solution is a much better, much more simpler, and because it has a large target market that already use, say, things like Piñata, specified IPFS service providers. So that is a big.
Oh dear,
Go
now
on.
we lost him.
In-
Ramesh,
yeah,
sorry,
so in
sorry,
that
sorry.
sense-
Can you repeat the last two sentences, please? But try to keep the
So,
stable connection close to the mic, please.
oh, my voice, sorry. So, with respect to IPFS and with solutions like Piñata, there are Piñata has like a lot of already paying customers. So it's not about mixing protocol, but providing a smooth transition for like targeting the IPFS market and providing a smooth transition to for people who already have projects that are integrated with IPFS or Piñata, to provide a solution for them, which can be an easier transition to move their data from IPFS onto Swarm. And so in that context, to provide also a free tier that uses IPFS currently, because you don't really have a free tier on Swarm. But I do agree with the other point that like to have something on the native Swarm protocol, to include something like a global pinning, that would be great. I think that's up to the D team to also decide and decide that. And I think if and when that comes, it should probably also IPSH should be able to take advantage of that again. Make global pinning great again. Indeed.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree there. I agree there.
hear you.
So
We hear you.
yeah, and I think this was. I think that is part of the plan to also like if it lands, if global pinning lands on Swarm, IPSH can also take advantage of that. But currently, this is like, so instead of trying to integrate each and every project that already has an IPFS integration, and then try to move that data or readapt your entire project onto to make it work with Swarm, IPSH provides a much simpler drop-in replacement for your existing IPFS integrations or Piñata integrations. So at least that's the direction that IPSH is trying to. I hope that's clear.
I guess, but I see both MFW and Henry typing in the in chat. Maybe let's wait. Let's give them like 20 seconds to type their questions. But really, everybody is more than welcome to also post after the call is finished in the stage chat, and the team will be around to pick those questions up. Joao and Henry and Ramesh and also Nidish. Please just stick around for a couple of more minutes after we finish the call. Okay, so why not, MFW continues, why not an IPFS light client built into B, and then on the retrieval protocol allow for BZZ and IPFS hash retrieval, and would then allow for bandwidth incentives on both, and therefore can use one node for both. What is your comment on that? Oh, a bit too much for the B code base. Okay, that's what Ramesh thinks. So now I'm just reading what's happening in the chat. That's exciting. That's exciting, guys. Thanks. Yeah. Okay, so I assume you will be nice and fine continuing in the chat. And for everybody who's only hearing this in audio over X and they can't see this chat here, let's invite them to come to Discord next time or join us, live where the action is happening. But
Mina,
thank you at this point. Yes.
just to I just the final slide was just to share the contacts to see if anyone wants to contact back, we can at least have the contacts on the
All right. Yes, please.
on your side.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. So yeah, the final slide was about just to reinforce what we already said. ABIT is doing the connection between Web 2 and Web 3, and of course IPSH, that I need to slow down a bit to say, links IPFS to Swarm. And if you want to know more about it, we are MetaProvide. The website is there. And I dropped 2 links. I'm not sure if the presentation is shared or not, but there's at least 2 links to know more about ABIT and know more about our latest developments or IPSH, or maybe the protocol with the new name that we just decided a couple of hours ago. And thank you all.
Thank you, Joao, for joining us. And thanks also for everybody else, all the spectators or the listeners, and of course, all the speakers. The next Swarm community call will be held on last Thursday of October, always the last Thursday of the month, and that is October 30th. See you then, and have a great rest of the week. Bye-bye.